Hey all, it's Vamps here. Just making a video on how we're doing and how getting out has gone so far for us. Yeah, okay. So obviously, getting out. Sure, you can guess to some degree what I mean by that. There's obviously, well, not necessarily obviously, but if you've been following all our videos, you will have some idea that our past is a abusive, traumatic one, and we grew up in in a space where it was unsafe, where there was a high level of control over what we did, how we presented, how we acted, and it was not healthy. So, we made the effort to leave. Right? It's not completely done yet. There's still a few ties left that we would rather cut, that I would rather see cut, but we're doing a lot better than we were, and are a lot less connected than we were. So, I think it's mostly gone well. There's been hiccups, but it's generally worked out for the best. It's generally gone quite well. Yeah, okay. So at first, there was a lot of fear of getting pulled back, and that was not helped by the efforts made to pull us back by the people we cut off. There's understandably a level of fear built in when you find out that the people you're trying to cut off have, among other things, reported you missing to the police. Right, that's never something you want to have to deal with, especially not given that, understandably, right, as people with mental health issues, yeah, sure, we're not the worst target demographic for the police brutality, but we are still queer and we do still have mental health issues, and so we really do not trust the police. So that was not an enjoyable experience in the least, and in fact quite scary. Right? And on top of that, of course, we'd lost our entire support network. Now, was it a healthy support network? No, but it was still the only one we really had, and so losing that was difficult. You know, but the important thing is that we're doing better now. We're properly settled in at work. We're making tracks on building a new support network. We've managed to start getting mental health treatment. And we're starting to break down the ties that controlled us and the internal, thoughts and feelings dictated by the fear from our past. We're starting to work through those and learning how to navigate being free. Obviously, we're not completely free. Not yet. Don't know if we ever will be, because that level of fear and pain and suffering leaves scars forever, and those scars will continue to affect how we behave, how we act, how we think, and probably for the rest of our lives. But there's more freedom now than we ever had growing up, than we ever had before leaving, and we can start to heal those wounds rather than having them reopened anytime we approached them in anything other than a acquiescing fashion. It's no longer we do this thing that's out of line with what's acceptable, and it's immediately that wound getting reopened, now we can step out of line and, you know, at least see, you know, generally speaking, you know, maybe someone inside will do something to reopen that wound, but then we know who, then, you know, maybe we can find out who and talk to them and help figure out why they're doing that. And from there, you know, help them stop doing that. And in the meantime, you know, if it's just a wound that would have been opened by an outside person, oh look, it doesn't get reopened. And clearly we can, you know, start to heal it and not pay it as much mind. You know, in the long run, it never stops mattering. Those wounds never stop mattering, but they stop being the controlling factor in your decision making. And, you know, that's what you want. That's what we want. Yeah. So, you know, I know I've not been hugely active, you know, I've been letting other people do a lot, but it's been good to be less restricted. It's been good to be able to let people who wouldn't necessarily have, you know, been able to do things in, you know, people who would never have had the chance to sit down and enjoy themselves or just live a normal life, have a taste of that. And quite frankly, it's been nice to know that I can step back and let other people do bits and bobs from daily life as well, you know. It's stressful, right, being part of a system sometimes, and it's more stressful when you've got clearly set roles that you can't deviate from, because that leaves the people, you know, that leaves no one with downtime from their role. And as much as roles can be helpful and labels can be helpful, it doesn't help when it has to be the entirety of your identity, which is what they had to be for us. And, you know, stepping away from that and getting to a better, healthier position. And I at least am grateful for that, and I know many others are. Although, you know, some people do continue to hold on to their roles because it brings them a sense of security or safety or permission to act how they want to act, you know, and there's no fault to them for that. And, you know, even I'm still co-host, even if I've been neglecting my duties a little bit in these past few months. But at the same time, I think me neglecting those duties was important in some ways. You know, if I had continued, I don't think some of the decisions that have been made would have been made, and I think they were the right decisions. You know, I think other people have done a better job pushing for a generally healthier existence than I would have done, because, quite frankly, I am very good at coasting along and not changing things, which is helpful at times, certainly, but it's not what we needed, and it's probably, you know, it's going to be what we need at times, but given that we're trying to heal a lot and make changes, it's probably best that I do let other people do a lot of that, you know, because that's the goal here. You know, it's not to coast along. And yeah, okay, at times we might need to just coast and take a step back from healing, but, you know, and that's completely fair and acceptable and understandable, and the same goes for anyone else out there who, you know, if you need to take a step back from your healing and just coast along for a little bit, even if you need to go apparently backwards in terms of healing a little bit, that's okay. It's a difficult process, and you can't always be walking up, you can't always be marching forwards on it, you know. Nobody climbs Mount Everest in a day, you know. you can't do that. And it's not the same, obviously, because, but it's the same concept. You're doing something very difficult, very challenging that generally requires a lot of people, a support network. And you may well be trying to do that alone, or at least not without a full support network. And if you try and rush it, if you try and go too fast, if you try and go in unprepared, it will not work out well. And yeah, sometimes you're going to have to take a few steps back or rest for a while, or even walk away and start again some other day. There's no shame in any of that. It's a difficult task. Anyway, I think that's everything. Catch you all around, I suppose.